I said, what do you like to do to the agent? And she said, I like to wine, dine, and have a good time. And I said, let's wine, dine, and have a good time together and connect to people. Let's put together a plan of how you need to use this website to connect. And that became my mantra and my sales pitch. It was never about the feature, never about the website, never about the CRM. Everything was about tell me what you want to do. What's your destination you want to get to? Let's build an academy at the company. Let's build an academy to treat people through. That became the Z57 Academy, which showed people how to use the product.
All right, welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology Unleashed. Super excited today as we're going to go be deeper with an individual who is absolutely crushing it with him and his team with AI systems, processes to help you at the end of the day have more success within your real estate business. Before we get kicked off, please do us a favor, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell as we have new episodes that come live every single week on Friday, and we're going to bring the one and only Brian from Lofty on to Real Estate vs. Technology. Super excited to have you on. Over 70,000 agents served. And before we get into Lofty, what you guys are doing on that side, how we can even be of service to the agents, we'd love to go deeper into your story, man. Before, where you're at today, how'd you even get involved in this whole real estate world?
That's a great question. Thank you for having me, by the way. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to it. I get asked that question all the time. And so I can tell you the funny story is I was student teaching, and I got engaged, and I live in California, and it's really hard to be a teacher. And so I took a interview for a website, it's a company called Z57. It sold real estate websites. And that was 20 something years ago. And I could tell you one thing I learned in the first 3 months and was a very top producer there. And I'll tell you, moved on to start a few companies and bootstrap a lot. And the journey is the one thing I learned is something we talked about before this call, which is you can't, the products, the technology, it's not what the product does. It's not the CRMs, the websites. They're the same 20 years ago. You know what it is the average agent doesn't have the time or the bandwidth to really do it. You have to teach them how to apply the product to their business. If you don't teach them how to use and make money with the product, you just got a product they may or may not use. And so in that drive to connect the consumer all the way through and allow the agent to create revenue and money has been a driving force in my career in the space. It's been the ultimate thing. Before AI, trying to figure out a way to make that automated, try to figure out a way to create a relationship, trying to do that for agents. So we went from there to Zurple, and I started helped with the founder of Zurple. We started that. And that was a elevation of, automation before AI. And then from there, I moved to conversion. And from conversion, that led to turning that into KVCore. And then I left the industry for 2 years, and I wanted to come back and do something big. I wanted to come back and really use AI and find a company. And at this time, it was Chime. I know you talked a little bit about Chime, and I knew them. I'd been following them for years.
Yeah.
And I said, I want a forward-facing, really good company that knows how to build technology for the future in AI. And I felt this was the only company that was moving in that direction that wasn't already in a legacy version. It's hard to turn that ship around. I want to work the future forward. And I purposely came here for that. And I'm really excited about this call. I hope that gives you the big idea, but that's really what this is about.
Yeah. Most definitely. So Z57, I remember that company back about 10, 11 years ago when I got started, and I see that they're doing websites and what have you. Are they even still around?
Yeah, they got purchased by Constellation. Zurple's purchased by Constellation. This is a very incestuous. We're all family here, all of us, right? We're all in the same bucket of same lake, trying to help this industry connect the consumer to keys to their kingdom.
Yeah.
We all live there, right? We're all part of that journey. And so a lot of these companies they're all been there, done that, right? And I think as a rule of thumb, I think it's really about the consumer, the homeowner, the renter journey, and we're there to facilitate that in partnership with agents and brokerages and teams and mortgage brokers. That's really why I look at it.
Nice. That's awesome. So I want to go deeper though. I want to go deeper into so one thing we love about this podcast is the fact that you can open up the door and go deeper into the person themselves, right? I mean, tech is great. And we're going to talk a lot about that in today's show, but open up the hood and go a little bit deeper into your story specifically. So what were you doing at Z57 from teaching to Z57? You're doing sales. now you're the chief strategy officer at Lofty, which is a big title, a lot of merged acquisitions, a lot of big. But like, I think for someone to connect with someone, right, from like just an average person, a real estate professional, maybe someone who wants to like maybe go from teaching. My wife taught for 16 years, and now she's running her tea company. Why did you get into teaching? Why did you go to V57? What were you doing there? Like the grassroots stuff.
So I went to teaching, so I left Michigan. That's not where I lived. I moved there and I decided to start my life over. So I wanted to get a degree. And if I knew I got back into sales, that I went to sell some more. I was always a very top salesperson in any organization I've ever been in.
All
And
right.
so doing that, I wanted to get my degree. I was 30 years old and decided I'll get my degree. Always wanted to be a teacher, played minor league baseball, not really minor league baseball, just played college baseball and then wanted to play minor league baseball, decided not to do that
Mm,
and it didn't have a chance, wasn't going to be drafted. But the point is that I wanted to move away from my life I was in and
yeah.
I wanted to start my life over. And at 30, I started over and I met the woman of my dreams and with two
Oh,
kids and said, I need to support a family. And so teaching didn't work out. And I took a job. Like I've always taken jobs in sales.
yeah.
Knew nothing about website sales. Never ever produced a website and knew nothing about technology
Wow.
ever. I did not know anything about anything to do with real estate. Nothing. I'd only bought one house in my life. So you wanted like what got me? Walked into training and I said, you have every agent needs a website. They have a credit card. They're the decision maker, and they need and want what we have, and they need to be taught how to use it. Can you just give me a phone?
Wow.
Give me a phone, and then I could tell you it changed everything. I called an agent in the deep right, and she said, I looked at, it, I said, what are we trying to do here? I mean, you're not using your CRM. What are we trying to do? What And I said, "What do you like to do to the agent?" And she said, "I like to wine, dine, and have a good time." And I said, "Let's wine, dine, and have a good time together and connect to people. Let's put together a plan of how you need to use this website to connect." And that became my mantra and my sales pitch. It was never about the feature, never about the website, never about the CRM. Everything was about tell me what you want to do. What's your destination you want to get to? Let's build an academy at the company. Let's build an academy to treat people through. That became the Z57 Academy, which showed people how to use the product. From there, go deep, I said, well, you know what? I can't get them to do it. So let's just do it for them. Let's create an automatic product where they put their leads in and the system will say, you have a lead that hit a high value target. You should call it right now. Here's your script. And if you don't do it, the system's going to do it. It's
Ah,
always about the same plan, right?
yep.
There's barriers, and then that kind of, within the industry, if you guys, everybody listening, agents are very tough customers. They jump from product to product. It becomes
Yep.
very difficult. They look, the grass is always greener for your audience. It's not greener on the other side. We're all passion, but it's
Yep.
always about the golf, like golf industry. It's another product going to make you a good golfer. You can't buy your golf game. Okay. I said, this is where we need to go. Let's create something different. Let's revolutionize the space. Let's create the first ever layered system that allows every single agent, broker, team to build a book of business on their own, privately and independent under a hierarchy. And I said, we need to do that. Let's revolutionize. Let's create add on products that agents can go in. Let's create automatic farming. Let's create everything in a box that agents can do so they can maximize their dollar spent. And it's always been about connecting the agent passionately about their value and what their value is, right? Well, I'm sorry if I'm going on. I want to connect. What
Yeah.
drives me is I want to connect the agent's lifetime value to their customer lifetime value in an ecosystem
Mm, wow. Wow.
because it's the customer that buys the house we should care about. And I'm a
Definitely.
homeowner and I want to buy a house and I want to have a good experience. How do we make that in a system for the agent? That's what this is about for me. That's what I'm passionate about.
Wow. That's amazing. And it's amazing to think that like you went from teaching to then transitioning into Z57, seeing the opportunity and then being connected in the right fashion, if you will, the catalyst where you guys connected. And was this over time? Like how did this process even start to because I think the biggest thing is, and from my understanding, and I feel like our audience is like going deeper from the perspective of like wanting to understand, like, yes, the value proposition, you keep going back there, and I hear you loud and clear. And it's amazing, and you've done an amazing job to get where you're at. I just feel like the story behind how did you guys connect? What was the catalyst? Like, what was some of the conversations in the room? How did you, because like it goes by like that, right? And now you're here, but to get there, it's like anyone who's viewing and listening, I mean, it's almost hard for them to, like, even from my perspective, to understand, like, how do I even connect? Like, that is crazy. Like, what did you do? What was the catalyst? How did
It's a
you
great question.
those
So,
conversations? You know what I'm saying? Like,
in Z57, my partner that sell website next to me went to business school, and he had an idea about his brother wanted to be real estate in Coronado, and how can we create a system that he didn't have to actually do anything and just did it for him, lead gen marketing. And we
wow,
had ideas. We talked about it. He got out of business school, did some stuff, and said, "Can we do this? Come by, see what we could do it together." I was a top sales guy, and I said, "I'll take 2 weeks off work and let's see." Picked up the phone, made some calls. They loved it. Bought in. 2 months later, well, not quite a year later, but said, "Okay, let's do it. Would you do it?" "Yeah, let's do it." We started a company. I was in my first sale was literally in my car,
wow,
in the front because I didn't want to get in my house and do it. And then it went to a garage, and then it went to a chair, and then it went to a one room house office, and then it went to hiring my colleagues, the same colleagues I've known for years, and at Z57, and following me over there. And then from there, we did a thing, and I said, this wasn't working. We just decided to go different directions. A few years later, after launching, and I left, and we parted ways. I sent the CEOs my information.
yeah,
They flew in the next day. And in the backyard, if you want to know deep, the backyard, the head of their CEO, the founder, is calling a real estate agent about the product. I've never seen the product, never saw it, didn't know anything about it. He's just showing what they do. And
yeah,
he's talking. I said, "Give me the phone." This happened. "Give me the phone." Got on the phone with the guy, started talking to him, talked about what it and he goes, "Great, I'll sign up." Okay, he signed up. I signed him up. I didn't show him a product, didn't do anything. He bought a 1,200 to $1,000 a month product. I didn't even know I never showed the product. I didn't know what the product did. It's about the vision that every agent and broker has and wants. And I've been on that both sides. Okay. It's also the vision the homeowner wants. Okay. So that's how I got with conversion. Then we started working together internally and building out these dreams and working with the clients and customers and connecting to their thoughts. And then from there, I wanted to be an owner. And I said, "I want to help own this. Can I, if I find a buyer, can?" He said, "Sure." So yeah, cool. So the founder of Inside Real Estate called me up and said, "Would you like to work with us?" I said, We can work together if you help me acquire this company." We put a plan together. That's how it got started, literally by a phone call. It's a
wow,
phone call. And we said, "Sure." And then we put the plan together. 7 months later, that became an acquisition, and Inside Real Estate and Conversion came together. And that became turned to KVCore and off and running for 4 or 5 years. We left. Didn't retire, but took 2 years off.
yeah,
And I said, "Who can I work for now?" I love Chime. I love the product. I called up the CEO and said, "I don't have took 2 years off. I want to come back, and you're the only company I want to work for." I actually asked, and he said, "Let's meet." Same story. If you're asking, that's the story.
wow,
Okay. And we're going to roll this out, and their product had all the same features, better, in many ways. So I didn't have to worry about sharing because I don't confidentiality, won't do that, and move forward. And we're going to say, "Great. Now let's talk about what we can in the future new." Take Chime to Lofty, and Lofty became a AI centric front facing, and it's basically building me working with 300 developers, working with our internal leadership to say, how can we build the product of the future that's going to be what everybody needs, wants, and the desire for the consumer to settle in one product, both mortgage. How can we build one end to end journey that an agent can own their data? Their data is the key. Personal relationship of their name, email, and personal right to call needs to live in a customer journey for lifetime value at the agent level. That's where everything starts. 85% of all transactions go through an agent. And we want to be the center of that world, either from a subscription down, direct to agent, does not matter to us. We want to be the center of the consumer journey through settlement for brokers on their behalf or for the agent to connect the consumer to an agent, shake their hand, and simplify that process.
Got it. Wow, that's an amazing story, and congratulations on all the things. It sounds like it was just kind of that fell into place. It was a process where it just fell into place, and it sounds like you're just in alignment. And it's amazing to see all of the different spin-offs, like the different companies that came out of this journey. Because obviously KVCore is still around. A lot of people use that. Some say that it's kind of clunky. There's a lot going on, a lot on the back end. And so
It's
it's
never ending improvement.
yeah, never, yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, never ending improvement. Always
Yeah,
trying, always caring about the customer. I care more about the customer than the company and the product I'm with. I care about my customers. I care about the consumer. That's what drives me. That's my passion.
yeah, that's awesome. And so now, how long has it been that you've been with Lofty for?
I've been with Lofty for about two and a half, two almost a little over 2 years.
Nice.
It's been a fun journey, and it's actually been one of the most rewarding journeys of my career in the
Wow, that's
space.
amazing. And what does your day to day look like as far as being the chief strategy officer? What does that even look like for our viewers and listeners to kind of wrap their brain around your position there at the firm?
What the goal here is to provide a strategic path forward through all different segments of the business, right? Not traditional strategy officer that you would think from a typical SaaS company, because of it, in the real estate world versus traditional SaaS companies, you really need to understand the space. It's the one big barrier. A lot of companies come in, they try to come into this space, they don't understand the dynamics. It's very different. It's very different. And so, being that industry leader and expert, it's the strategic and goals of eliminating the potholes that you go through
Yeah,
to make sure moving forward we scale to the customer's needs that they may not even knew. Like, they don't know they need it until you build it, right? If you build what they want, it's obsolete before you build it to have, quoting, who and whatever.
yeah,
But the point is understanding that part of that strategic forward thinking. I I live that. But at the same time, I'm also business head of business, development. I'm out in the trenches. I'm going to conferences. I'm meeting. I'm doing these podcasts. I'm the face. I get up on stage. I love to speak. I love to talk. I'm also in enterprise sales. So I work with like large enterprise sales, bringing them in. So they get, if they want to learn more about how we can run all of, uh, an EXP or Caldwell Banker or a brokerage of 500 agents, but I want to grow that 500 to 10,000. Well, I've lived that life at an industry level to help build an entire plan to grow a brokerage and scale that brokerage with technology end to end
yeah.
by hundreds. So, how do I help the company strategically do that? But I actually talk to the customer and I deal with customers every day. That primarily, that's my goal, is to connect our company to the customer and build the product to their service needs. That's the way I look at it.
Got it. That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. Sounds like always a never dull moment, and always always an ever going process as far as evolution, and then connecting, getting on stages. So let's walk for our viewers and listeners. Maybe they want to they want to maybe utilize, check out the tool, understand how it works. Maybe they already are a customer of yours, but they're not maximizing it. Like, kind of break it down for us so we can kind of understand and how does it specifically work, and how does it connect and make it such a smooth process for connecting consumers with buyers and sellers, or
that,
vice versa.
yeah, that's a great question, and I'm still coming through loud and clear, right? Yes.
Yep.
All right, perfect. There's some fundamental mind shift that everybody interviewers need to think about products, and I think that's a great question. So the real estate space has some fundamental flaws in 25 years that we've set everybody up on a path for failure. And I can, in my opinion, of working is one is that we are in a personal relationship business, and every agent here is that's what your lifeblood is. So we think buyer, seller, and transaction. We went this whole lead thing, and that's just not where the business is. It never should have been. Your CRMs that are built today and previous are all about lead gen and lead management. And I can tell you right now, that's a failure. It's always going to be a failure. You need to treat your people, your leads, like people. This is about people. So it's homeowners or renters. You're not working with buyers or sellers. Buyers or sellers are a product of your follow up, not a product of finding them. There's no such place as that. So if you said what's Lofty about and our product about, it's about taking your data or creating ways for you to grow data. So consumer journey. So website, CRM, website, landing pages, business cards, flyers, mailers, postcards, anything that the consumer can touch, bringing that into a full journey to consume property alerts, market IDX, listing alerts, and engage that in AI nurture. So we're watching and paying attention, keeping your leads in a heartbeat. Okay. So your data, your friends, your sphere, keeping them alive automatically so that when they raise their hand and they turn into that transactional opportunity, you're doing less work to maintain that database, more people, you're creating that AI relationship. Once they raise their hand and say, I'd like to look at this house, I want to do that, I want to do this, you have the most robust client relationship management tool to track all of that and then manage your contract to close. And then when you get to the keys to the car, you want to create lifetime value and put them through a lifetime value journey where they live in your app. They're on your search app. So you're basically creating a end-to-end homeowner journey, and you live your life. You're servicing the needs of your biggest asset, which is the homeowner or renter, and you are the destination. You're their representative, your asset manager. Our dream is to create Lofty as the single source of truth for the agent for their biggest book of the asset. And we want brokers to provide that book of business to their agents in a subscription model, or we want the agents to come to and transact. It doesn't matter to me, team, broker, agents. At the end of the day, we want them all managing that. If that makes sense, we manage every part of that component and we have the ability to integrate and open source with other vendors and products. We want to be the operating system that is partnered for all. Like if you were, I'm saying FUB, well, we integrate with this. We have an open API. We want to be the AI hub end to end for a broker, team, agent, and be able to offer that all the way up, top, bottom, sideways, on the lending side. Everything, you become the consumer hub and your business lives there. And that's our dream. And we're on pathway to that. That is the future, I believe. And I think we all should live in that future.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. So I want to go a little bit deeper with like when you say customer relationships, talking about just the back end systems, how it helps with the nurturing process before, after, during close. I want to go a little bit deeper. So, what's your thoughts when it comes to agents and video these days? Right, you're getting a lot of agents that are not just social media. That's one portion of it, but you have YouTube video. A lot happening with a lot of agents doing more so with adding value to their consumers with the power of video, and that could be talking about their area or schools or parks or whatever. So there's like almost like when you think about the pendulum, right? You're over here at the AI automation, that type of stuff, and then when it swings over, you got these people over here that are doing 386 transaction passively prospecting, building parasocial relationships with video and autopilot. How does that integrate within what you're talking about? And do you see that there could be a clash, or is that symbiotic?
And you're talking my love language. That's where everything's going. So we have an AI marketer that can set up all your social media and AI marketing posts. That's built into your journey, and they can learn from what you want and how you want to do it. You can automatically send videos and content out through your entire database. You can create automatic landing pages with video. You can create webhooks. Everything in the system of how you deliver that video to the consumer, even your YouTube, all of that comes in as a destination back. So it's casting your lures out and you want it reeled back in. It's all about pull marketing. You're pulling everybody in to your funnels, and you can have and all that can be staffed, and those things can be in. So it's all about optimizing your whole customer journey and all the tools and AI, connecting it into a web, connecting that together. So yes, all of those things can live and be delivered and then also be the destination back. But I love your video because I think we're missing one big thing in the space of future. Search and lead gen on search is down 30%. No one's going to Google going homes for sale. They're going to ChatGPT and going, what's a great blah, blah, blah on their answer. You want to be the answer. You want video out there saying, hey, I want a credit repair down payment assistant. And if I'm a lead and I go, or person, I go, hey, ChatGPT, what's credit repair down? I got a YouTube video that this agent posted that lives in my system that brings them back as the solution for that. This is all AEO. This is the future. What you just described is the future of real estate. It is the future. And having it all connected and having that, I can't tell you, hyperlocalism, video content, content on blogging, social media, those agents out there in the world that, hey, I don't want to be that. Their fastest growing content and Instagram is people over the age of 45. Your fastest growing, it's not dead, it's growing. It's older people are getting into it. It's just the date. It's just, you got to wake up. That's where we're going. That's the future.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's where I just got off a call with an agent, and we're talking a little bit about, he did 45 transactions last year. Congratulations. That's awesome. I was trying to find out, what is your common thread? Like, last past 5 clients, like, was there a commonality so I can get to an avatar? Like, who would be an ideal customer type? And anyone who's doing a listing out there, how many times do you work with someone that basically you are just like, I wish I didn't work with them? Or they couldn't follow a process and you didn't have a process for them to follow. So then you're
Right.
just like literally beating your head against the wall because you're like, dude, I've spent more time than what I'm worth on this customer. And now guess what? They just went somewhere else.
Right.
Right. Which is just totally another pain point situation. So going deeper in the process of like the tool itself. So say, for instance, hypothetically speaking, someone's listening, they sign up day one. What happens through day 30? And how long does this process take for them to start to get up and running? Do they have a customer success manager? How are they getting all this stuff set up so it integrates and it works?
Well, a lot of times we think we have to learn or set things up when we don't. But there's two purchase journeys for Lofty, and I think we'll start there. I can be a parent, like a rack rate parent. Like, an agent. I want to buy a Lofty, and our Lofty system and it comes for entry package. It's the same product no matter what. So it's always the same product. That's, 2 seats. And I don't like to go into pricing, but say, oh, that's under $500 a month. That compares to the Boom Towns, the Bull Trails, the Real Geeks, the Commissions Inc. It's kind of an affordable full scope product that an agent would buy. The other option is you work for a broker that provides a subscription. It's the same product, the same option, but if their broker's providing you a version of Lofty, they're providing the subscription to their agent. So it's not watered down. It's just full Lofty, right? And the ability, you just don't have to pay. And if that broker had a tech fee of 50, guess what? They're getting Lofty for 50 and they don't need Lofty for 299. This is the beauty of who provides the product is the key. So, but the experience of usage of the product and the ability to use the product is the same. And if a enterprise broker listening, anybody listening, had 5,000 agents, you would be providing Lofty in a box, 5,000 down, and you are providing that subscription now. This is the mistake. We think that brokers have to spend money. No, they just provide subscriptions to their agents that give them the power to create wealth. We're one of the products you should choose to surprise your agent and make it affordable. It's either bulk or direct. Okay. When they come on board as an agent, it's really kicking off your customer journey. Let's get your site set up or get your subdomain site set up. Let's get your database into the system. Make sure your domain and all your lead sources are connected. Let's make sure that you're walking through. You don't have to customize your website. We have 200 template options, and it could be, the whole point is it's there. You're ready to go. And as I say, you're like at the starting gate and you're like, boom, what do we do? What do we do? Well, I want to take your data and I want to convert it. I want to make you the center. So how do we do lead CPR, engage that data, listing alerts, things like that? That's your starting point of your data. And then for you and anybody listening, I want to take my 500 people in my database and I want to turn it into 1,000. How do I do that? Isn't that fun? Think about that. It could be YouTube videos. It can be pay per click. It could be Google. It could be flyers. It could be door knocking. It could be open house. We have an open house app. It's how do I do that? We have plans and programs, both free and paid, how you do that. How do you grow your database? You don't have to leave this ecosystem. And if you have a third party partner you like and has an API, here's your API to integrate. It's so to answer your question, it's first start off with making sure your phone is set up. And then how do you get people to call it? And how do you get people to answer it? At the end of the day, that's all we're doing. Make the phone ring or give you somebody to call.
Got it.
I hope that answers your question, what you're looking for. We overcomplicate things. We try to say, I have to do all custom websites and do all. Yes, we can offer all those services. Yes,
Yeah.
you can do that. But at the end of the day, out of the box, an agent day one that gets our system from a brokerage. You got our system from a broker today. You went through the process of very simply doing it. Let's say 24, 48 hours later, I can give you a link and you can put in a zip code and you can, for $100 a month, have 20 to 40 leads every month. You don't need a website, you don't CRM. You could just have it automatically and push out to wherever you want. So there's the easy button and there's the, I want to take my own custom journey. We're both options, easy, or for those high end top 10% agents that don't want to spend $4,000 on a custom site brand stuff anymore. They can come to Lofty. They can get things done end to end really affordably. It's luxury. Like we have a Lofty luxury program. It's done luxury done affordably. So again, we want to be a destination for agents, teams, and brokers to make the easy button happen, and make the complex easy, make the growth simple, and the simplest things are the hardest things to do. Though sometimes.
Yeah, most definitely. No, I appreciate that. So going a little bit deeper. So say, give us an example on both buttons, the easy button and then the like the more complex. So what does it look like as far as case studies? Like what are we looking at here for someone who basically says, all right, I'm going to sign up, watch Real Estate First Technology. Sounds like an awesome tool. Maybe they're just an individual agent. We'll start there first. They go, they want to sign up. They put in their 500-person database. They want to get to 1,000. What kind of case studies, how long, 3, 6, 12 months before they start seeing return on investment? Like, what does that look like?
That's a great question. The misconception is that there's something unique about this. There really isn't. I mean, honestly, it's not about the leads are the same no matter where you go. We all fish in the same pond. So if I in Carlsbad and I do a Google AdWord campaign, there's no secret sauce to that. I'm competing for that same traffic. If I'm doing a hyperlocal Facebook or social media campaign, I'm competing for the same homeowner renter in the same market. It's the same person. The beauty in the success of what you do and how you do it is changing your mindset. That's the key. So I'm trying to tell people that looking about buyer, seller, and mindset, really what it's about is your database, and just it doesn't matter who you put in it. There's no secret sauce to get a lead that's ready to buy. Stop trying to find a buyer and seller, just find people. That makes things simple. That makes things simple. So you have a website, you have your CRM, you move your data in with a CSV file, and you have all your automated campaigns and AI there. You don't have to learn how to drive a Tesla. You just let the Tesla drive. What's hard, what's difficult is not the leads you currently have to manage and serve. That's easy. That is an easy button. You don't, so the agent out of the box, we have automatic campaigns, we have AI sit there, put listing alerts, good. You don't have to touch it. It's going to monitor everything. It's done out of the box from day one. You would have that day one instantly with us. Now, the hard part is, do you want to build custom webhooks? Do you want to build an automatic campaign? Do you want to create different journeys for different funnels? So then, and I don't know what those funnels are. That requires, hey, I want to do this. Go to my AI. We'll show you how and tell you how to do it. But if you don't, we can't come to us and say, hey, how do I make money in real estate? That's what happens. And I'm like, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? There has to be a what you're looking to do. And sometimes agents don't know. And so part of our journey is to give them playbooks and understanding of how to do that. And so my message to everybody here is it's a universal thought no matter what system you use. You need a website, you need landing pages, you need traffic, you need to capture that lead or prospect or fan or friend or referral, and you need a follow-up system based on that person where they came from. That is very simple and automated to do with Lofty. Is no secret sauce. So stop looking for the secret magic pill that doesn't exist. Just buy a good system that has a Swiss Army knife that has all the things you need to do in one place. That's the secret. Don't piece together a Frankenstein. There's no secret way to do something. We all have what Lofty does for a brokerage that's different is we empower the individual agent to have their own journey, private, personal, private, teams, brokers. So everybody has the same product, the same value. It isn't like a secret club. It's the success in a box. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so, somewhat. I mean, looking for more maybe case studies. I understand that there's no magic pill, and I understand where you're coming from, and it definitely makes a whole lot of sense. I just feel like you know when you're fishing in a pond and everyone's fishing in the same exact pond, right? Like it's either early bird gets the worm, so you need to follow up quicker, and if your system's doing what your system's doing, then maybe that happens automatically. I do feel that people buy from someone they know, like, and trust. And the 7 triggers to states that if you do something for someone else, they'll be more inclined to do something back for you. So I think value first is always something that's going to be the top of mind for human to human connection, regardless, especially after COVID in 2020. That's where social media, video, connection, and be able to add value. Like my wife and I moved from California to Arizona, and what did we do? We found some guy on YouTube showing us Chandler and Mesa and Gilbert and all these different locations, and we picked Gilbert, and this was the place that we ended up going with. And the guy wasn't even a real estate professional. He was just some guy on YouTube just showing the area, so I didn't have to fly out and get a car and deal with all that type of stuff, so I can be able to go through that process. And it wasn't even that like I looked it up on Google and or even ChatGPT to say, hey, where's the best place to live in, Arizona, Central Phoenix. And then it said like, you know, here's videos to watch and here's an agent. None of that shit. It was just literally, I looked up city by city and based off that went and searched off video and
Yep.
started watching some videos to see who would I be, what area would I be interested in moving to.
And that journey of that, and you want to be there, right? So I'll connect this to you. You clicked on that. You happen to be in a transactional phase. But the real world that we live in today, consumers are always in search. It's like house porn. We're always in a state of search. I hate to say it that way, but my wife goes online all the time and looks at neighbors' houses. We're not looking to sell or buy right now. There's no way to differentiate that fish. There's none. But the journey of when that fish comes in to your system without you doing any knowledge of how to make that work is what you want as an agent that
Hmm.
says, "Hi, you're a homeowner, right? Yes. Here's a automatic market report." So that person stays alive in your app that now stays alive. So when they are ready, there are 10,000 people, you don't miss out on that opportunity when the music stops. So it's
Yeah.
not what you can do with the system. It's what the system does when you're not using it that everybody needs in real estate. You can't watch 10,000 people. And yes, it's great that you saw that video and that's down the thing. But ultimately, what about this? And I'll challenge on everybody listening. And you do represent that. You bought a house, right?
Yep.
Now, when you bought that house, you used a different agent than the seller agent, correct?
Yep.
Which one of those agents put a automatic home report to you no matter what? Did they give you a welcome message? Did they connect all of the trades in the area in the neighborhood to connect everybody that could mow your lawn, everything like that? Did they create a home fax to know your value consistently, month to month, in the day, from time ever? Did they make sure you had an app to search the neighborhood through their app to stay in touch? Which one of your agents did that of the two? And did any of them do that?
No. And
All
my
right.
my intention is a little bit different from the perspective of being in the real estate marketing space on the liftoff agent side. So I had a little bit of a behind the scenes. My process is a little bit different, but I agree with you. There was nothing. And after I purchased the home, there was no one. And this is something I think that's great for the after close journey, which it sounds like you're talking about. Like, okay, cool. I got 10,000 square foot lot. I got a pool. I got grounds, I got bugs, I got security, I got a couple AC units, I need solar, and there was none of that offered to me from the agent perspective. So
It's
that's that's money on the table being left that people are completely forgetting about. So I 100% agree with you that I think that this standard from that perspective and coming from the perspective of Lofty and having a tool that basically gives that to them on like a silver platter is a value because that's definitely something that needs to be stated because then every single time the pool's cleaned or the grounds are cleaned or the bug guy comes or I'm saving on my electricity bill because of the solar, I'm thinking about that agent.
So, and it's exactly what the future is with AI. That's exact. So, for example, if you want to quote, we're talking now and future state, right, of Lofty 3.0 and a couple, and as we go and how it works. I got to get an inspection done, and it gives you a report that you have termite. Well, you push a button in your system, and it gives you automatic quote from everybody. And you pick which you want, and you're done. You didn't leave the ecosystem. So the reality of what we're talking about is creating a lifetime asset management system for you and the agent to live together in harmony because it's your single biggest asset you purchase and you want that end to end. Now, I understand where you're saying, what's the secret case study? The case study is no one's built this. The case study is we have orphans in the industry is getting sued by consumers saying, we don't want to pay you a commission. The industry is failing because all we're doing is transaction and we want to see case studies on what product gives me a lead that wants to buy now. Nobody does. There's no real product that does that. That's a myth. What they really need is who communicated the best, who created the people alive and kept them active so I could work with more transactional opportunities, who made it more likely. And so that's a time long. And yes, do we need a better job of delivering? That's where we're living now. That's the future is to keep the lead alive without you doing the work. Now, real important, and I don't know if I'm preaching here, but I want to connect this to everybody as an agent. If you have and I won't use names, I have a CRM that doesn't have search. I have a disconnected search to journey. That's drip campaigns. And I'll challenge anybody. How many people like sending drip emails and receive them? Nobody. Stop just randomly sending messages out because you get unsubscribes. But if your CRM only has that and doesn't have search to, listing alerts, everything, you have a disconnect. You have them over here, and then you bring another product over here, and you get this flyer that goes out that doesn't have a scan code, that doesn't respond based on what they're looking for. You need a end to end for every business card. It should send a video. Your business card should have a. I'm giving everybody ideas, but if your products don't give you the tools for that, then you won't even get there. They won't ever get there. So with Lofty, we have the tools you need to get there for anything when you talk about, or if we don't have it, we have an open eye to put it into your system. It's really the offer of the gun, the rod, the reel, the lure, the tackle box. Everybody's going to use it differently. Everybody's going to fish differently. Okay. But if you're missing it and spending $10,000 to try to find it, that's not a good journey for anybody. For the average agent, that's just not a the top 10% they're going to buy their journey. I want to get the average agent, the 90% of agents, 3 to 5 extra transactions a year from their broker providing our tech stack or from buying Lofty. It's all about maximizing the agent value to create a relationship. And I want and I'll say this to you. You just said passion, and golf industry. The average golfer handicap hasn't changed in 50 years, no matter what the technology is, and we know it. The average agent's average transactions, 3 to 5 transactions a year. It hasn't changed in 20, 30 years. It hasn't. What do we do to do that? What do we want to do that? The best agent, they can buy their way into transactions. They're great. But how do I take every agent and they go from 3 to 5 average to 5 to 10 average? That's the case study I want to build with Lofty. That's what I want. That's what brokers should want. That's where the biggest revenue is.
Yeah, that's a pretty lofty goal. I like it. I think it's awesome. And for viewers and listeners out there, 90% of the transaction volume is done by the top 10%. So you got 10% doing, for that 90% of the other agents, only 10% of the business is being transacted by those folks. And so, that's where I see you live to try to help, with that process. And I have to just challenge, you, and I'll challenge also the audience as well, is you got to step your fucking game up, dude. At the end of the day, people are they're just transactional. I mean, I met a lender just a few weeks ago after doing a speaking engagement. Like, I don't even remember the last 5 people I transacted with, because everyone's so transactional and just moving so quick that I feel like, regardless of Lofty, the tools and everything else, which is a phenomenal, I feel like we need to slow down, have more in-depth conversations. I just went off the grid for 7 days with my 7-year-old daughter and my wife. Travel trailer, my truck, and nature. And it was amazing. Off the phone, off the technology, off the scroll, off that stuff. And I think when you combine higher levels of standards, because you actually give a fuck, and then you have systems and processes on the back end, I think that's your differentiating value proposition. But then I also think too, it always has to stem down to value, because if our commissions are being challenged by the consumer, it's because obviously the 90% of agents that only do 10% of the business, they're not doing a great enough job. And I by all means, God is my witness, Lofty and you guys, and I hope it happens, Ryan. But I'm just telling you, you got a fucking huge hill to climb because of your consumer and the market you're going after. And to be honest with you, even these brokers that are coming up that have 500, 1,000, 10,000 agents, what have you, even them, because they're just always about the number, and the transaction. So my biggest takeaway for anyone who's listening and viewing is, like, slow down and have a more in-depth conversation, and take your phone and put it away for a second. And
I
like,
can't. I cannot agree more. And I'm going to say, we're not just looking to. We have the top 10%. We have the biggest KW agent in the country uses us. They build their businesses. I mean, we're working with the biggest companies from EXP to Real to LPT use our
yeah,
platform. They're providing the opportunity to the agents. It's the
yeah,
opportunity to all their agents, and even the top 10 percenters. The goal here is to be a better customer journey for your customer. At the end of the day, that's the goal. And that's what you're saying, right?
yeah,
Well, I can tell you that I've been in the space 25 years, and it's a pet peeve of mine that we continue to be transactional. The best product in the world does it all, does all of that, and make sure that you become that relationship. It is how you apply the product to handshaking. And can I share a story? And it's a good one.
yeah,
I'm at a party now, reviving, And a realtor comes up to me at a Halloween party and says, Brian, help me get a deal. He just got started with a broker. He's got our product and he's like, help me get a deal. This is during COVID, by the way, okay, going back a few years. And I said, why? Well, you can get a deal now. There's no secret sauce. Let's get one today, right now. There's a party full of 70, 80 people here. I don't know anybody. It's a gym party. Let's get you a deal right now. He goes, what do you mean? I go, pick somebody pick anybody. I don't care. Pick them anywhere. Just we'll pick them up. I'll go up to them. I'll make sure they buy with you. I'll get a deal right now. You can pick the person, like a bet. He literally picked somebody out of the party. I walked up to him, shook their hand, and that person bought 3 months later. Didn't plan on buying, wasn't looking to buy. Our job as agents is to be a consultant and a concierge. Our job is to make sure that we help agents become their dream homeowners. And it can happen at a bar. That can happen on a Google pay-per-click. That can happen walking your dog. That can happen in a Pop Warner event. That can happen all over the place, anywhere and everywhere, at a party, no matter what. And if you're not thinking like you just said, and you're looking, then you're missing out. And I said, put her in your database. Next time we throw a Halloween party, make it your Halloween party. Send an invitation with the system through a text code. Text them in, come in RSV. Now you got all the names of people coming to the party in your Lofty system. You can automatically create a homeowner journey for them, and it didn't cost you a dime for leads. Stop trying to find a transaction and just connect to people.
Yep.
Can't agree more with you. Can not agree more.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, and that's where I feel like, every great tool, the only issue is the users and making sure that they actually use the tool. So, for viewers, listeners out there, this could be an amazing tool for you if you can slow down and use the tool. And I think that it sounds very intriguing, very interesting as far as the integration portion of like the social media and the YouTube side, because I feel like pay-per-click and all that type of stuff is good, but I feel like the secret sauce, the backdoor secret sauce, and potentially this is where you guys can come in, is that people are not looking up wanting to buy, sell, FHA, whatever it is. They may just want to be looking up something as far as what is there to do for a Friday night. And then next thing you know, they find you, the agent, who has a video about the 10 best things to do in your area, service first. And then they watch that video, and then they go to your website, they download that guide, they scan the QR code. The guide is like the 10 best things to do. And guess what? Now that turns into a printable thing on their desk. Right. Each week, we're going to do one of the 10.
Yeah, and you just put down what you want to do today to get 10 people, and you stop trying to buy stuff, and it's free. I'm not saying it's for everybody. What I'm saying is that's an opportunity you can use Lofty for. We also manage all pay-per-click. We also do dynamic ads on Facebook. We also have print and postcard services. We have all those, but sometimes you could just be at a conference in real estate. You meet some guy and he says, what do you want to do? I need to get some leads. I say, well, you're in Vegas. You're a Vegas agent. Why don't you join a bunch of Raiders fan groups, create I love the Raiders landing page, post it to the fan groups, and you'll generate 100 Raiders fans that are thinking about moving to Vegas. And it's free. And they did that. And they got an appointment on the weekend from an executive said, I love your video. I want to see some houses in Vegas. It didn't cost them a dime. And they sat and we did it in 5 minutes, and they could do it. It's really about the agent moving away from trying to find a buyer and saying, what do you like to do? And one of my agents did this recently. And by the way, you told me when I'm passionate and connecting deeply. He says, I'm a personal trainer. I go, you should make money. Why don't you do free boot camps at the beach?
Nice.
And she goes, and I go, and then create a landing page, join all the fitness groups, and then get a bunch of other agents that are really good personal trainers, and they do free boot, and you make a team. And now you become free boot camps, and you're going to get more business in real estate. And if you're passionate about boot camps, you're passionate about personal training, connect your life, your passion as an agent. What do you like to do? Just go ahead and hit me with you. What do you like to do? What's your favorite passion?
Cars.
Cars. Awesome. You got classic cars or just cars in general?
Nissan GTR, TRX, just to name a few.
I have a BMW competition mode, all tricked out, full custom, and I also have a 68 Ford fully restored Pop's dad's first truck. Okay.
Nice. Love it.
Why not organize a charity car drive? And you could also make it a property drive. Why not create a landing page and connect that on Facebook and do it for charity? Get your title. Every agent watching this can do that in a second. It's so simple. Why? Because you like cars. Make cars about connecting the people, but that's part of your database to help those people because they all homeowners are all renters. They're not transactional. Just
Mm,
connect. You can make everything that you're passionate about and you can bring it into your Lofty system and connect. There's no secret
mm,
sauce. It's connecting to what you're passionate about. And that's what every agent looking on this can do to get the extra transactions they want to get.
mm. Interesting. So just side note, I'm on laughter.com, says close more deals faster. It's talking about, for agents, teams, brokers, put your business growth on autopilot with Lofty. I mean, honestly, I think that's your stitch. I think your
Yeah.
stitch is literally have your passions generate your income. I think that's Lofty's thing. I think
It,
honestly, outside of what you're saying here, I think AI is cliche. Everyone knows AI now. I think that's a given, and close more deals faster. I think that's great. But if the byproduct's like connecting them with your passion as far as whatever you like to do, I think that could be something that could really be able to like drive up potential. I mean,
this
that's
is
obviously that's
it.
agent focused,
It's
right?
what I'm coaching, right? But at the same time, all that other stuff. So yeah, I did that, but that has to connect to the AI. All that automation is what
Of
brings
course.
it together to take the time. I just want to do the car club. But I bring it in. Now my AI is following up. My AI is watching. My home reports are done for me. Everything's automated. I don't have to touch it. I don't have to touch the person. It's on. I just need you to get the people. I can't make the people happen. You have to do something. You have to do a pay per click. You have to do the car club. You have to decide. I just want you to put your people in it and let our whole thing work for you.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
Let me go a little deeper with that idea. So you just said, okay, I'm an agent. I like cars. I want to do a car charity drive. So this is something that I want to do potentially once a quarter, once whatever it is. So could you are you telling me that I could use, hypothetically speaking, your platform to build a landing page that would set that up and then utilize your AI system, not to send them data on houses and reports and that type of stuff, but drip on them and send them the information about that event specifically and when it's going to happen, what's going to go on during whatever time I allot for that
All of
event.
it. Your flyer, mailers, event future state, other car stuff. I can create a whole journey on that. And a cursory thing would be, hey, if you're a homeowner, by the way, in this group, check out your home value page here. I can do anything. You create video card, you can take videos. I can connect all that within Lofty. I create automatic journey. So as soon as the landing page hits, they opt in to the car thing. I can control in all communication, video, content, blog, social. My AI learns from it. It helps you write it. Helps you write the content. You have AI video creation that pops in. And you can put it in your YouTube. You can hook in. So I can do a web hook that also hooks in third-party content. I can do all that within Lofty. It doesn't have to be. I mean, my gosh, it doesn't have to be just about buying and selling. You can put them on an automatic listing alert if you want, but it goes out once a month. And
Mm-hmm.
that's all of a sudden that next house. Oh, I did that, but I'm also got the car club. And then the next car club event that happens, you've already sent out a reminder. Yeah, yeah, that's not a problem. That's easy.
Yeah,
That takes
very interesting.
that takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking for viewers and listeners out there, meeting hundreds of thousands of agents over the years. I know that like emotions, like with emotions move. Like we don't forget things that have happened to us, whether it's negative or positive, especially negative in our past, right? We hold our issues in our tissues, we hold on to trauma, things like that. So as soon as you get to someone's passion about cars or golfing or whatever it is, whoever's doing the listening would probably be that much, that I can imagine, that much more inclined to be like, hey, maybe I check out Lofty because I can
100%.
now connect with my end potential buyer or seller, which I'm not even going to focus on anymore. I can connect with my potential person over cars that maybe turns into something in the future. But hey, let's use this platform for this, and this instead of. So that's where I feel like reverse engineering for viewers and listeners out there is something that could be super smart for you to be able to consider outside of it needing to be a traditional way of doing it, because then you could just do what you love to do. And as you're doing what you love to do, by default, you're connecting and
It's
as you
to me,
connect.
this is back early days of Z57. Wine, dine, and have a good time. That turned into a dinner. That turned into a farm. That turned into a landing page. That turned in. Now this is all manual, really hard back then. Okay, that created a custom
Yeah.
site. That turned into a stage. That turned into an event. That turned into food vendors. That turned into 10,000 people. I'm not literally 10,000. every Friday of every month became a thing. There was another client in Colorado, it was exercise on the rocks. It's like a whole exercise community that became his kiosk, but that all turned into something. I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So all of these things, or the we don't think about that because we think transactionally, and we don't think about our passions because as real estate agents, we're almost afraid to tell a person we're an agent because we get a negative vibe. It's like, what are you doing? You're not try to represent them. You're trying to be a friend. You should be you should own what you do. You're the
Yep.
trusted person that's the legal, like, my gosh, that's what we're in the business for. This is about connecting your life to life, journey to journey. I want passion here, guys. I want your audience to say, how do I make that? Well, 99% of the platforms out there in real estate can't do what I just told you could do. That's a
Yep.
fact. So they're trying to buy you a lead instead of building a business, build a restaurant, bring your people in. 99% of the platforms you're listening cannot do or provide what I just said you can do with Lofty.
Yeah, yeah, I love it, man. I love it. That's pretty powerful stuff, and I think the only missing link is the passion behind the viewer and listener to get off their deer ear and make a choice, and and get fired up with something that they're going to be really passionate about. Brian, I know we're getting close to the end of the show now. And what we like to
Yeah.
do is we like to open the floor up to you from the perspective of putting a bow tie on our episode here. So is there anything that you would like to give our viewers and listeners as a final thought, a final takeaway, a quote, a book? Is there something that you want to go ahead and just put a bow tie on this episode with?
I will. I love that. Thank you. And I really, really enjoyed this conversation. I know, it's these things can be hit and miss, but my bow tie to everybody here is this: is have fun, be personable, and have fun. If you have fun in what you're doing, I've always been a passionate person to have fun in what you do. That's the one thing. You can make the real estate business fun. You can make it an enjoyable career that's beyond having to drag buyers around in a car. You can make it fun. And the second thing, there's a formula for success every agent, every team, every broker has to live by. And that formula for success in anything you do is traffic times lead capture or lead conversion or management of a hitting intent, doesn't matter, times follow-up equals money. If you don't have all three of those in everything you do, and I don't care if it's a flyer you send out 100 times to 100 people, if there's no scan code on it that brings them back, then you're wasting your time, money, and effort. You have to have a business card that has traffic, and you have to have a way to capture or provide more or data in, and you have to have follow-up. If you don't have those three components, then you're going to lose money. You're losing the connection. So everything you do, make sure, no matter how to be Lofty. And if you want to learn about Lofty, you go to lofty.com, request a consult, not a sales pitch. Request a consult on our product. If your broker doesn't have Lofty, tell your broker, hey, check out Lofty. That's my message, because you can do that. I love that. But ultimately, look inside yourself and ask yourself tomorrow, today, how do I get traffic? How do I get a way to put them in the data, name, contact information? Doesn't matter where the traffic came, right? It could be Car Club. How do I get that? And how do I put them on a follow-up journey of value? If you do that, no matter what, even your cell phone do it, you will be successful.
I love that. I love that, man. Brian, this has been amazing opportunity. Just for our viewers and listeners to know, Brian was dealing with some airport issues. As we know, TSA, the government shutdown, the whole nine. So we pushed this out an hour. We came back, got it done during both of our, lunch hour or so.
Yeah.
If you take a lunch at 12 to 1. And so it's been a pleasure. I'm glad that we got connected. This show is to serve the greater community. So Brian, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
And for our viewers and listeners, thank you so much for listening today, as it is our intention for you to take things from our episode to apply to your business and have more massive success. Like, subscribe, notification bell, comment down below. Love to hear your thoughts, and we'll see you on the next one.